The business owner, like the Asian business owners, Chinese, Korean, I never know like which is which when I'm looking at them or talking to them, but they are in an uproar right now. They are so upset because it is said that their businesses are getting boycotted, that their parking lots are empty, based off of a not guilty verdict that's recently happened prior to this weekend. And there's a lot of people upset, and people are really upset at the Asian community. I have never ever seen an Asian go off before until today. I have never seen a Korea or a Chinese person go off and just go in so hard until I seen it today on TikTok. These people are pissed. Allegedly, one Asian came back and said that we actually need them, that we can't make it without their businesses. They said everything that we buy is made in China, made in Korea, and so on and so on. The guy basically said that we cannot make it without their products. But yet, I don't think that he completely lied. If you go into our stores, 90% of what's on those shelves in the store, made in China. The next time you go to Walmart, Target, or any of those stores, pick up one of those coffee cups, look at the bottom of it, made in China. Your spoons, knife, and fork set, turn it over and look at it, made in China. The next time you go buy a blanket or something, look at the tag on the blanket, made in China. So they are talking, bro, and these people are pissed because they feel like the boycott is really affecting their businesses. And if it's true, and some of the videos I've seen on TikTok today is true, and they're not made up AI videos, it looks like that boycott is taking effect extremely fast. One lady pulled up to 3 of the nail salons, and every last one of them was empty, man. Now, I don't know if those nail salons open on Sunday. She could have been capping and pulled up on a day that they were closed, but it seems to me like those nail salons are open 7 days a week, man. But them Asians is starting to try to clap back, bro. Y'all better be careful. I ain't never seen an Asian go off like I seen today. It's getting crazy out here, y'all.
My grandma always used to say, people always think the grass is greener on the other side, but you still gotta water that shit. And every time I see certain conversations online, I always think about that. I'm seeing some folks say Black people shouldn't be boycotting Asian businesses. Y'all gonna see what happened to y'all. And I'm like, what happened to y'all? What happened to us? What happened to y'all? That's the part that always kind of gets me, right? If Black people don't matter, if the Black dollar ain't valuable, if Black people are doing too much, then stop taking our money. It's really that simple. Go on and get all them other dollars. Open your stores exclusively in communities where you feel like people don't complain, don't protest, and they don't speak up. Since we're such a burden, go and see how much it works out for you. The irony is Black people have spent generations fighting for equality, not just for Black people, but for everybody. And now a lot of people that benefited from the fight that Black people did, they want to say, just be quiet and shut up. But if it wasn't for us, they'd be no you. And now some of the people who benefited from Black folks opening those doors act like Black people don't bring nothing to the table. And that's why I don't get offended anymore. If you truly believe Black people have no value, stand on business. Stop taking the Black dollar. Stop opening businesses in Black neighborhoods. Stop marketing to Black consumers. And just let us know when that little experiment works out. Because see, my grandmama also taught me something else. Folks don't appreciate water until the well runs dry.
I love when a Black community says, let's boycott Asian businesses. Please do. We'll get rid of the Chinese takeout, the dry cleaners, the laundromat.
It is so damn ironic of you to bring up Chinese restaurants and dry cleaners and laundromats, because we didn't choose those jobs. We were actually forced into them due to the anti-Asian laws created by white Americans and white European immigrants. And the only reason why those businesses survived was largely because of the support of Black people. But a lot of you bootlickers don't know your history. And for that, I'm gonna have to take you to school. Domain expansion. Infinite TED Talk. What's up, everyone? My name is Rainier, and this is the true history of boycotting Asian businesses. You see, before Chinese restaurants and gas stations and beauty supply stores, the first Chinese migrants were actually in America in the 1800s during the California Gold Rush, and then to build the Transcontinental Railroad across the West Coast. But when the gold ran out, and the final train tracks were laid, the American economy fell into a depression, and poor white Americans and European immigrants started to feel threatened by Chinese labor. And so what do? They joined anti-coolie clubs, and they advocated for anti-coolie laws that would limit the opportunities of Chinese laborers and tax anybody who hired Chinese workers. The racism was so bad that Chinese people were hunted down in their neighborhoods, beaten up by mobs of white men, or just straight up lynched in the streets. This violence is a big reason why Chinatowns were created in the first place. They are ghettos. They are safe spaces where Chinese people could set up shop and live together. But because of these anti-coolie laws, the only businesses that they could set up and get financing for were restaurants, grocery stores, and laundromats. Quick side note, so you should definitely watch the Warrior series because it's based on the writings of Bruce Lee, and it's set in the 1870s during all this anti-Asian racism. But even though Black people were fighting their own freedoms at the time, they still took the initiative to speak up for Asians. And in 1869, the great Frederick Douglass gave the Composite Nation speech where he said, "Let the Chinaman come. He will help to augment the national wealth. He will help to develop our boundless resources. He will help to pay off our national debt. He will help to lighten the burden of our national taxation. He will give us the benefit of his skill as a manufacturer and as a tiller of the soil in which he is unsurpassed." Then in 1871 in Los Angeles, a mob of 500 white men robbed Chinese businesses and killed 19 Chinese immigrants. Hatred was so commonplace that companies would release advertisements to sell their laundry products using anti-Chinese racism. And then decades later, when the Hoover Company needed to sell washing machines, they published this ad over here depicting Chinese laundromat workers being displaced by automation. Now, if you watched Sinners, you probably remember the two Asian characters over here who ran a grocery store. And a lot of people were kind of confused why they were included, but that's because many Asians who left the West Coast due to a lack of work and racism, they fled to the South to work on sugar and cotton plantations. Many of those same Asians set up grocery stores in those Black neighborhoods, which means Black people were speaking up for Asians on the West Coast and putting dollars into our businesses in the American South. Fast forward to the 1980s when Vincent Chin was bludgeoned to death with a baseball bat by two white men who thought that Vincent was Japanese. Ronald Ebens and Michael Nitz recently lost their job at the Chrysler factory, and they blamed the Japanese car market for destroying the American automotive industry, and so they killed Vincent Chin. And when the Asian community needed to seek justice, who showed up for us? Jesse Jackson. I could honestly keep going, but I'm going to end on this note. If you know the Disney movie, The Jungle Book, then you know the author of the original book, Rudyard Kipling. But what you might not know is that Rudyard also infamously created the poem, The White Man's Burden, which symbolizes the pain and the struggle of being a white man who is responsible for carrying African, Asian, Latino, and indigenous people out of the jungles of barbarism into the promised land of civilization. But for a lot of you bootlickers, you seem to think that just because you're in another basket that you're better than Black folks, even though we've worked on the same plantations and we've been lynched by the same angry mobs. You're trying so hard to get invited to the picnic, even though history has proven that we'll never truly be accepted by them. And in fact, history shows us the opposite. History has shown us that even though Black people have no reason to invite us to the cookout, for well over a century, they have still had the heart to save us a plate. So to all you ungrateful Asian bootlickers out there crying about Black people boycotting Asian businesses, just know that this protest doesn't come from nowhere. It came from over 100 years of showing love to Asian people and not receiving that same love and support in return. And goddamn, I think it's time that we need to return.
It just dawned on me that Asians are having a FAFO moment. I've always fucking hated the 39 to 42% of Asians who voted for Donald Trump because I was like, how could you be that fucking stupid to vote against your best interest? And they're all racist over here thinking that they're better than everybody else, that they're not going to be detained and deported by ICE because it's all the Mexicans that are going to be detained. Not really caring about anybody else but themselves. And now after the Rick Chow verdict, when Asians are coming out in groves talking about, well, don't freaking punish a whole community of Asians by boycotting all Asian businesses, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this whole time they just cared about themselves. That's why they voted the way they did. Black people boycotting Asian businesses was not on my bingo card, but this is fucking a great twist of 2026. Can you do me a solid favor, though? While you're boycotting Asian businesses and talking amongst yourselves of which businesses to boycott, can you, prioritize the store owners who are registered Republicans? Yeah, fuck MAGA and anybody who voted for him. Sapo!
Hey y'all, Miss B back again at another beauty supply store. And listen, I'm seeing all these sales. I saw 50% off, 75% off. And why is that? Because we are not up in there, y'all. I walked through this gigantic beauty supply store and the aisles were empty on a Saturday. We are doing it, y'all. Now, one thing I did notice though is that I saw a few black men in this store, which I was surprised by, but I know that y'all need your wave caps and your wave brushes and your clippers and all of that. I would only ask, please, let's all lock in. There are black-owned beauty supply stores in most areas. So guys, let's get on this. I know that y'all were concerned about whether or not the women were gonna follow through, and we are following through, y'all. So we need everybody to lock into this transfer of wealth, this blackout. We got this, y'all. We are doing it, and we need to do it together. So I love y'all. We are doing this thing, and I'm so proud.
Boycott Asian businesses. Look, I know many people are angry. They think justice needs to be served. So they want to boycott Asian businesses. I know emotions are high, and if this is how you think there's going to be some justice, okay, I'm okay with it. But then when does it end? When is it, okay, we've boycotted Asian businesses enough, justice is served, now let's move on. I just personally don't think this is the solution. If anything, it produces more tension, creating some unnecessary race war. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Asian business owners that are like, what happened? Where's all my black customers? They're just trying to make a living. They're just trying to make money. Now, what's the answer? I don't know. If you have any productive recommendations, please comment below. But personally, I just don't think boycotting Asian businesses achieves anything.
So as someone who came from a family business that has actually operated my own family business with my husband, okay, I honestly think that it's okay if the black community wants to boycott Asian businesses. I mean, I stopped going to nail salons because I didn't like the way that they were talking shit and making me feel uncomfortable, and I felt like I was being discriminated on because I wasn't Vietnamese. I stopped going at least 5-6 years ago. That's why I started doing my own nails. Now, the black community has every right to be able to apply their money to wherever it is that they are accepted to, whether it's to their own community or someone else that they personally know. I actually find it very offensive that, one, people think they can tell black people what they can and cannot do with their money, right? And two, that you guys would even challenge their discernment as to why they choose not to go to any other establishments anymore for the safety of their own people and their family and their kids. That's actually insane. Like, this child, Cyrus, is a child that got murdered, but this isn't the first time that this has happened to their people. And the crazy part is that this is their country. Everybody who's an immigrant here, every person of color, came to their country because America is white Americans and black Americans. Now, do I think boycotting is going to work? I think that it could work because obviously words are not enough at this point, right, to make any type of changes. But at the same time, I do believe that there is just problems in the system. There needs to be some type of heavy regulation that needs to change within the systems of giving out businesses or allowing people to open establishments in anywhere, and just fully giving it to anybody else besides Black Americans, because it's very difficult for someone in the Black community to really just go and get a business back then. Now it might be a little bit easier, but there are still some discrimination against it, right? They're going to make it very difficult, and everybody's going to try to shut them down. Like, you guys don't be asking the right questions. Like, do you guys ever wondered, or have you guys ever studied about Black Wall Street? Those are the types of questions that you need to like find out. You over here asking me, do you own your own family businesses? Look, I would never want to spend my money on anybody who's going to be racist towards me, killing my people, targeting my family, my kids. I would never want that. So if boycotting works because words are not enough, because they've been saying it for so long, they've been trying to reach out and try to communicate with every community of color at this point, and then there are people actually giving them backlash and being disrespectful, talking about like, we got our own Chinatown, we're going to stop having Chinese foods. That's some weird shit. And for the people who are saying like, oh, not everybody's like that though, like not everybody deserves that, like, you don't think that the people of the Black community already knows that? Like, why are you guys being so rude? They don't have to be told that. They don't have to be persuaded that. That's insane. It's disrespectful. Asian Americans, I just really want you to understand this. When you guys say stuff like that, you make it seem like as if the Black community is incapable of making their own decisions. Like, you guys are telling them what they should do, how to think, what they should do and spend their money on. It's insane. If you guys really want to bring solidarity and bring unity to our communities, the Asian American community and the Black community, what we can do in this type of conversation is that Asian people just need to sit down and listen, because some conversations just require you to listen.
Boy, y'all got them Asians hot. Y'all saw that guy that got on his platform and he was talking about, boycott Asians, we'll leave y'all community and see what y'all have. He was like, y'all won't have Chinese restaurants, you won't have the Chinese dry cleaners, you won't have the liquor stores, you won't have the Asian market, you won't have Jordan. Oh boy, he was rattling it off. But here's the thing, that might apply up north, it doesn't apply to the south, because they don't know Chinese dry cleaners in the south. If they do, they're far and few. The liquor stores, you guys don't own the monopoly on that either, not in the south, Black, white, Asian, Indian. So that doesn't apply to you. The nail supplies, the nail salons, you guys have majority of that, but guess what? White people know how to do it. So do African Americans. We'll find somebody to do our damn nails. Also, they was talking about the clothes and stuff. We shop from Temu because Temu is cheap. You can take a 7-day cruise and you get 25 outfits for $50. Wear it one time, look fabulous, and throw that shit in the trash. We don't care. And he was talking about the Asian market. Well, a lot of Black people don't go to the Asian market anyway, and talking about the Nikes again. The Nikes, your Jordans, Michael Jordan gave it to you guys to make over there in China because they were cheap labor. It wasn't because he preferred you guys. It was just cheap labor. So stop making them. Everybody got a pair any damn way. We don't care. But to come out there and to raise Cain like that shows that you're scared. Because a lot of you guys up north are in poor Black communities. So you depend on the Black community to feed you. Then he talked about, we pack up and we go to our own community. We have our own communities. Okay, fine. So guess what? Have your Chinese restaurant, your Chinese dry cleaners, your nail salons and everything in your community. Why come to the poor Black people? Because you're not in the prominent white people neighborhoods. Hello. So again, we really don't care. I don't eat Chinese food like that because I'm not Chinese. You guys would go in your store, you about hurry up and buy, so I don't even buy. And I do my nails myself because over the years, you guys do a worse job and you want more money. So no, I do mine at home, and guess what? We've been doing our nails for decades. So we got a chick in the garage right now, so we're doing acrylics. So you be okay. So again, make that be a wake-up call, because they're talking pure cash shit about Black people. And what we will lose if we stop patronizing them. We will lose a goddamn thing. So y'all be all right. So boy, bye. But let that be a lesson. You give your money to people that don't value you at all. They just want your dollar. Hurry up and buy. Hurry up and buy. So think about that next time you walk into an Asian establishment and they treat you like shit. Are you going to still give them your money? Or are you going to walk away and give it to somebody else? Food for thought. Just saying.
I would like to thank the Black people who have come forth and stated how useless it is to boycott all Asian businesses just because of one incident. We are not all the same. We are not all one culture. We are not our parents' generation, we are not going to call for a boycott of all Black-owned businesses after a Black on Asian crime. At least you're not going to see me doing that. And by the way, we don't claim this guy. No, we need to be focused on other things. We need to come together because I promise you it's a bit sus that this case received all this attention and went viral seemingly overnight. Back in 2023 when the incident happened, this was not on our radars. Now in 2026, when racial tension in this country is at an all-time high, now we hear about this all of a sudden. It's being covered by every single major news outlets who are run by the ones at the very, very top. Don't get me wrong, we should talk about these things. They are important. But I think it's time to talk more about unity because things seem like they're devolving into a race war. If you're curious about my thoughts on the case, because I've been away for about 2 weeks and I'm just coming back now, I don't know what to say. It is tragic. A kid lost his life. It is tragic. We do not have footage of the climax of the situation. Everybody has a counterpoint to every point from both sides. I will just say there was no need to chase that kid out of the store. It doesn't matter where you stand. You can say it looked suspicious. Maybe they were fed up at that point, whatever. My bottom line is there was no need to chase that kid 100 yards, over 100 yards in a situation where you brought a weapon with you just in case. And if you somehow were to know that Rick chased him out of racial prejudice, I promise you, not a single Asian on this planet would be surprised. Those are my thoughts. I'm happy to be back, guys. I do think these are important discussions to have, but I think also at this point, maybe we're kind of losing the plot a little bit. Let's push for more unity going forward. Thank you.
Yes, this is really important. Asian Americans were redlined from opening businesses in white neighborhoods because white people didn't want Asian Americans operating in their neighborhoods and didn't want Asian Americans profiting off of white people. But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress Black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in Black communities, even though Black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities. And as I've said before, as a result of this, Black wealth is essentially paid out twice when it goes to Asian American businesses. Once when the individual pays for the goods or services, and then again when the Asian American business owner removes the profit from the community. Because usually people open businesses in their own communities, and this is mutually beneficial, where the business owner is making a livelihood off of providing goods and services to their community. And by being a member of the community, they're contributing and they're investing back into the community. This is an ideal situation, and that is not what happens with Asian American businesses operating in Black communities.
On social media platforms, the hashtag boycott Asian business continues to spread and attracts significant attention. Many Black consumers have spoken out about grievances they believe have existed for years, including economic exploitation, a lack of respect, unfair treatment, and insufficient support for Black communities, despite those communities having contributed substantial spending to these businesses over a long period of time. Regardless of whether people support the boycott movement or not, one reality is becoming increasingly clear. The public is paying closer attention than ever before. For years, community activists have argued that Black consumers spend billions of dollars annually at businesses that do not reinvest in Black neighborhoods, do not prioritize hiring local residents, and, in some cases, fail to show support for the very communities that have helped sustain their revenue. As a result, an increasing number of consumers have decided not to wait for change any longer. They are redirecting their spending elsewhere, and this shift appears to have caused concern among some business owners as they notice declining customer traffic, changing online sentiment, and damage to their brand image. At its core, the principle of a market economy is quite clear. Consumers have the right to choose where they spend their money. Businesses often expect customer loyalty, but many people argue that loyalty must be earned from both sides. Supporters of the boycott campaign say they are tired of being encouraged to continue spending, while their legitimate concerns are frequently ignored whenever controversies arise. This is one of the reasons why emotions surrounding this movement have become so intense. For many participants, this is not simply a matter of commerce or consumer behavior. For them, it is an issue of personal dignity and the respect they believe they deserve. At the heart of the issue is the feeling that the community's voice is valued only when it is accompanied by economic value. This frustration has been building for a long time. Supporters of the movement argue that economic pressure has historically been one of the most effective tools available to marginalized communities. They point to numerous historical examples in which consumers use their purchasing power to compel businesses and institutions to listen when other methods failed to produce results. The message they are sending is quite clear. If a community's money is welcomed, then that community's concerns and voices must also be heard. This perspective is currently receiving considerable support among social media users. Videos discussing the boycott movement have attracted millions of views, while many people continue to share personal experiences that led them to participate. Some view the movement as a necessary wake-up call for businesses. However, others worry that large-scale boycotts may affect individuals who are not directly involved in the issues being criticized. Debates surrounding this topic are currently taking place across numerous online platforms. Although people hold different political views, one common theme is easy to recognize. Conversations that were once avoided are now being discussed openly, and many see this as an important step forward. What makes the issue even more sensitive is that many Black consumers say they have remained loyal to certain businesses for decades. Some families have spent thousands of dollars over many years at grocery stores, beauty supply shops, restaurants, and other businesses in their neighborhoods. Now many are asking a very direct question. What has their loyalty over all these years actually brought them? This question is becoming central to the growing movement. Supporters say they are no longer interested in symbolic messaging or public relations campaigns. What they want is meaningful engagement, mutual respect, investment in the community, and genuine partnerships. Until those things become reality, many say they will continue choosing to spend their money at businesses that better align with their values and beliefs. That is the power of consumers. Without large-scale protests or political intervention, people can still create influence simply by deciding where their money will be spent. For businesses following these discussions, this may be a troubling signal. Once consumers begin re-evaluating long-established spending habits, regaining trust and reversing that trend will not be easy. The broader lesson may extend far beyond this particular boycott. Businesses everywhere are being reminded that customers are not merely revenue figures. Consumers want to be treated with respect, they want transparency, and they want to feel valued. When those conditions are absent, more and more communities are willing to organize, mobilize, and redirect their economic power. That is one reason why this story continues to remain a prominent topic in online discussions. Ultimately, money can sometimes exert greater influence than press releases, social media statements, and even political debates. What many people are asking now is whether the boycott movement will continue to expand, gradually fade, or become a catalyst for deeper conversations about economic relationships between communities. However, one thing cannot be denied. More and more people are recognizing the power they hold every time they make a spending decision. If you have followed along to this point, please share your thoughts. Can consumer boycotts truly create change? Do businesses have a responsibility to reinvest in the communities that have supported them? Is this movement a form of promoting accountability, or has it gone too far? Let us continue the conversation in a respectful and constructive manner. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this content if you found it helpful. We look forward to seeing you again in future discussions with Global Trends, where we cover the stories, trends, and conversations shaping today's world. And, as always, all content rights belong to the original local creators.